Okay, here we go back to the phones, and this is Ralph. Ralph's in Tampa. Welcome to the program, sir. Hello.
Hello, Rush. Mega soft, sunny Florida. Second Amendment dittos, man.
Thank you, sir, very much.
I've been listening since 2006. I had the pleasure of meeting you in 2008, and I've been raising two Rush babies ever since. And I can't tell you how much I want to thank you for everything you do for me, for our country. And
I wish it could be more. I really do, but I appreciate that. I really do.
Yes, sir. Well, I was calling to see if you had the opportunity to watch this 2-hour special on the History Channel called America's Greatest Threat, Vladimir Putin. And if you
wait a minute, America's greatest threat is not Trump, it's Putin?
Well, I think they did a pretty good job of tying the two together. So I turned this on with the intent of really getting to know Vladimir Putin, why he was our enemy number one. And within the first 15 minutes, I just couldn't believe it, but they had done a really good job of tying the entire election of Donald Trump to Putin. And at this point, my wife kind of gave me one of these oh no type deals. She knew I was going to throw some of that TV, but I decided to stick with it and bear through it for two reasons. One, I really was interested to see who Vladimir Putin was, what made him tick. But two, I figured you're a busy guy, and I was going to try to do some show prep here for you. So the next hour, they did a really good job of identifying Putin and who he was, how he was raised, and kind of what made him tick. And in the last half hour, they really brought it full circle and went back to the foreign intelligence and ex-employees of the intelligence agencies and really tried to bring it back as to Putin and Trump and the whole conspiracy theory that's being pushed by the mainstream media. And I really had 8 main takeaways from this. And if you have a second, I'd really like to
I don't have time for 8, but give me a couple.
Yeah, they did a really good job of showing Bush W. after 9/11 and Trump, and really showing them as friends of Putin. And I thought through innuendo, they really did a stellar job of tying the Republican Party to Putin and Putin to the Republican Party. And unfortunately,
wait a minute now. That happened. I mean, Bush invited Putin to a Texas barbecue in Texas. And Putin apparently had never eaten food like that. When it was over, he said, I've never felt this way after eating. Can't believe what they eat here. He was not appreciative. Meanwhile, Bush said, I think I saw the man's soul. So Bush wanted people to think that he had a good working relationship with Putin. That was not made up.
No, they showed that twice, I believe, through that 1 hour. But really, the innuendo was that Putin was a man who had great ability to trick humans, and this was his KGB gift, and the Republicans fall for it every time. And then they went right from Bush to Trump and said, this is why Trump has befriended him, and Putin knew that he could do this to Trump, and this is exactly why he wanted Trump to be president. He couldn't fool Hillary. Hillary was too strong. And again, so
this show actually said that.
They did say that.
This show said that Putin didn't want Hillary because she's too strong.
She was too strong. And again, the innuendo was always dumb Republicans, smart liberals.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do you want to combat that? I mean, it's the History Channel? The History Channel? None of that is history, and none of that is accurate. Here's the thing, folks. I get so tired of having to repeat this. Vladimir Putin doesn't really care who wins presidential elections. To portray Putin as that in the weeds with all this is to really misunderstand him. Vladimir Putin's objective is to defeat the United States. He doesn't want an ally in the United States. It's not that if Trump's in the White House, then Russia can do this or that. Their purpose is to destabilize this country. We are the world's only superpower. The Chi-Coms, we're their number one enemy. We're Russia's number one enemy. Hillary Clinton was a pushover for Vladimir Putin. Hillary Clinton, everybody is a joke. Hillary Clinton and her plastic red reset button. Hillary Clinton was selling access to her administration via the Clinton Foundation. Who knows how many Russian oligarchs had donated to him? Vladimir Putin, to the extent the Russians get involved, just want to destabilize. The Russians, the Soviets, have been trying to infiltrate every institution in this country since I have been alive, and before that. Primarily the American education system. If the Russians had their way, the Soviets, communists, they would wipe out religion, particularly Christianity, and they would totally take over American education. And in some people's minds, they've succeeded in both. Saul Alinsky, all these community organizers, they're all communists, folks. The Republicans are the bulwark and the lone opposition to all of that. They're not complicit in it whatsoever. But that show, if you've accurately described it, it's just more propaganda. And it's designed, the media got together with the Democrats and they created a narrative shortly after Trump won that his election was illegitimate, just like they did with George W. Bush in 2001. After the Florida recount, presidency illegitimate. Bush cheated. Florida Supreme Court recount was stopped by the U.S. Supreme Court. Gore should have won. Therefore, everything Bush does is illegitimate thereafter. Same thing with Trump. Hillary should have won. Russians stole the election from her. It's a pattern. It's a theme. It's a playbook page that the Democrats run. And they all pick it up, and this is the value they have in owning pop culture. All it took is 1 week of Trump stole the election working with the Russians. Establish that mindset, then run all these stories with supposed sources, anonymous sources, the intel community for a year and a half, and in other places like the History Channel pick up and run ostensibly a profile of Vladimir Putin, which is really nothing more than a vehicle to show why Putin was really afraid of Hillary and feels much better with Trump in the White House, which just establishes further the original narrative here that Trump stole the election working with Putin. So that's, none of what you say, when I hear you say it, think about it, surprises me. I still remain surprised that this has been so easy a sale with the American people. But then that just zeroes back on what a pitiful condition American education is in and how easy it is to indoctrinate when you have succeeded in teaching people how not to think. I appreciate the call. Ralph, thanks much.